You might have heard the parable about the wise man that builds his house upon the rock and the foolish man that builds in the sand. But what if the rock is huge, more like a cliff really, and the wise man wants to make his house dangle off the side of it? Is that a wise man? I'm not so sure.
So guys, we're doing 5 lifts every 2 minutes.
It's 6 p.m. and Steve Mellinger is hard at work doing the job he does when he's not doing his real job.
Some people sort of watch TV, I sort of come up here and have fun. And they're great people too, so you're interacting with some awesome people, doing some awesome things and challenging yourself daily.
Up! Easy! Easy!
Challenges are something Steve talks about a lot, which is a good thing because he has a few big ones coming his way.
Run all the way in. Don't stop at the door. Run all the way to the wall.
While moonlighting as a fitness trainer, 39-year-old Steve owns a Sydney-based construction company that builds high-end homes. On top of running his business, he and his partner Ray have 2 big projects on the go: the birth of their first child and the construction of their first home at Curl on Sydney's northern beaches.
Curl for me is the last little place in the northern beaches that hasn't been spoilt by high-rise and, shopping centres and cafes. It's predominantly, as you see today, there's, a couple of hundred surfers out there because it's probably one of the best spots in the northern beaches to surf.
It's still like a little town on the, on the beach. Everyone says good morning to you and hello, and it's still that sort of Aussie-friendly sort of beach kind of place to go, and the water's amazing. You've got the pool and the cafe, and it's just lovely.
3 months ago, Steve and Ray stumbled on a remarkable block, which came with architect design plans already approved for an extraordinary-looking home.
I saw the house for sale with the DA that I loved the house, and I said I have to have that.
When I first saw the property, we pretty much were pulled up and there was this dilapidated house on top of this huge big goat hill of a mountainous rock sort of area, and Steve's like, it's amazing, it's great.
It was something that I wanted to challenge myself with, and it's going to have challenges all the way through, from the side access to the inclination to the detail. So it's just going to be a nightmare from start to finish. But it's, I think the end product's going to be real cool.
Steve isn't exaggerating when he says this site has its challenges.
Hello. Steve?
Peter.
Ray.
Nice to meet you.
How are you?
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I'm out of breath.
Yeah, that's definitely, it's a hike up those
It's a
stairs.
way up, isn't it?
Definitely
It is,
is.
definitely.
But when you get here, my God, what a piece of dirt you've got.
It's a great
Oh,
outlook.
sorry, what a piece of rock you've got.
Yeah, definite massive
Definitely
rock.
that.
So is it hard finding a block of land like this?
It's like almost impossible. This was just something that just popped out, and the fact that it was going to be such a difficult building, I think, is the only reason that I got it. If this would have been sort of a conventional land with a conventional building, it would have been snapped up within, days. Probably wouldn't have even gone to market.
And you bought the land with plans, is that right?
With plans.
And what's that do for you? Why would you want to buy someone else's vision?
That's a good point. Well, I think I couldn't have designed it or requested it better. I don't think I would have been able to have that vision of building it on these so many levels.
And is it hard doing something like this? I mean, I look at this building site and go, it's almost impossible. I don't know what angle that is from here to the road, but you've got to stand on your tiptoes to see over this rock ledge.
Yeah.
It's a long way down.
It is.
It did have a dumbwaiter in the design, which I thought it was okay, but then you'd still have to go outside, up the stairs to come up. And not being lazy or anything, but it is as you can see, it's quite high up, and it is a bit of a, a heartbreaker to get up here.
I almost got vertigo just standing here.
And getting out of breath, it can be sort of a little bit hard. So with Steve's just instantly went, right, just that was one of the first changes that he actually made to the design.
I don't think you put babies in dumbwaiters.
No.
Not a good look.
No.
That change was to replace the dumbwaiter with a lift, which will form the spine of the home and rise 9 metres from the street-level double garage to a self-contained granny flat with separate side entrance. Next stop, 4 metres up, is a huge cantilevered slab suspended 9 metres above the rocks below. Inside will be the massive living area and open-plan kitchen, with a small courtyard to let in light and the northern sun. The rest of the home then chases the slope of the block. There are 2 small bedrooms nestled a few steps up from the kitchen and a bathroom. The next level is the family room, which opens out onto a flat garden and plunge pool carved out of the rocks. Finally, towering 21 metres above the street, is the master suite, perched high on the block with panoramic views right down the coast. The whole house will be wrapped on all sides in expensive zinc cladding for what will be a contemporary and pared back finish to a remarkably difficult project, and for Steve, the ultimate test of his abilities.
Have you actually done a house together before? Is this the first?
No, this is the first one.
Yeah.
I've sort of,
the first one.
you know, in my career as a builder, done like 70, 80 homes. So I've done a few.
Mate, you're experienced.
No. Yeah.
This must be a walk in the park for you.
They're never a walk in the park. Everyone's got its unique challenges.
So this is actually expanding your repertoire, your skill base as a builder.
Absolutely, absolutely. I can definitely say I've never done anything like this before.
So it's for your CV after all.
Yeah, this will be right off the top of my list of achievements.
And Ray, have you got confidence in him doing something as complex as this?
If it was anybody else, I would have been kind of going, oh, really? It's a bit hard. But with Steve, no. He loves the challenge and he'll excel at it, I'm sure.
And so, Steve, you're doing all the hard yakka, day to day.
Yep.
And what's it going to cost to build? You paid 1.3 for it.
I've got my budget at 1.2. So if I...
OK, so it's a $2.5 million venture you're hopping into here. How long is it going to take you?
I've got a 12-month. I've actually not done anything 12 months, so this is...
Oh, so you put everything on hold to do this?
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
so you are serious about that?
I'm really excited. I said it's my background. It's what I've been doing for so long. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Steve's idea of fun and my idea of fun might be different. But so much about this project is tricky, starting with access. This is a daunting slope. Just manoeuvring excavation equipment into position is challenging.
Nothing's easy. The original plan was actually to build a dirt ramp from the driveway all the way up to the top of the rock, and we didn't have enough material. So this is sort of plan 2, but I think it's a better plan, safer plan.
Steve and his team have spent 4 weeks cutting into the rock and levelling the ground for a crane that will lift an excavator 13 metres up to the main part of the site.
You want them that way or that way?
Everything sweet? All pretty good? Yeah.
And you'll see, mate, up again.
I'm gonna get out of the way a little bit.
Get a load right push. Up steady.
Almost too easy. Good people, good planning. Things should work to plan.
The next challenge is cutting into the sandstone to make room for the house. In total, 200 cubic metres needs to be removed from the site.
As it gets deeper, it gets harder, and it can get even harder and harder as you go down to about 5-6 metres and get to blue sands, like this blue ironstone. So, yeah, it all depends on the shelf and where you are. So go across. More.
After 10 years off the tools, Steve's having a refresher crash course in on-site challenges.
Tilt that way a bit more, just a touch, yeah.
And if his attention to detail is anything to go by,
We got a little bit too far, just a touch back that way.
removing this rock could be a long, slow process.
Whoop, that's it. And maybe 50 mil that way.
nothing here is easy. The fact it's being built at all is a small miracle for architect Andrew Donaldson.
It's timber there. It's going to be like a bit of a board form where it sneaks around in zinc at the end. The original client family were a special case of design enthusiasts who knew about architecture and wanted that kind of challenge, and the design kept going over quite a number of years and a few, sort of 5 iterations of the project. And then in the end, upon getting DA approval, the original clients unfortunately decided to sell it. The auction came and went. We thought that they may have been the only ones and that it would just never see the light of day. When the email came in, very short, saying, "Hi Andrew, I'm Stephen Mellinger. I bought the project. I love it. We want to build it." And it was just, the best news ever.
The pairing of Andrew and Steve is serendipitous with Steve's skills and experience. The house that was too hard for some will finally rise.
One of the major challenges of this site, beyond being steep, is that it faces south. Sunlight comes from the north, so getting light in, chasing its tail down that slope was a very important part of breaking apart the design and creating those internal courtyards and its unusual arrangement from the start.
Another major challenge Andrew faced is a piece of architectural and engineering wizardry. It's interesting, isn't it, this cantilever here at the Museum of Contemporary Art in Sydney. The way it protrudes out over the ground below, making it look like it's almost hovering. Andrew, the architect, was part of the team that worked on this building, and he's using it to great effect at Steve and Ray's home. It's certainly not the easy option, and it requires some heavy-hitting engineering. But that's what I love about the Curl house. Rather than shying away from the challenge, it's capitalising on its billy goat territory. I can't wait to see if it takes advantage of this remarkable potential, or simply gives you vertigo. Two and a half months in, the excavation's finished. The formwork's complete and things are moving at a cracking pace on site at Curl.
It's usually 2 drops on a newspaper and everyone's off. The boys are quite happy to keep working. They love it. They love the rain. Being on site every day, I'm sort of managing every detail, making sure that everything's exactly how I want it. It's probably going to frustrate the guys a little bit, but we'll get a good result hopefully at the end. Knock it out, redo it. 170.
Steve's juggling a couple of competing pressures, the ultimate test of his building skills and a really tight deadline. Every day his team spends here is a day away from other income-earning projects. But even more compelling, another little distraction is just a month away. The birth of their first baby.
Crazy, isn't it?
It's 2 weeks since Ray last visited the site, and it's barely recognisable.
Massive changes, yeah, but he's been working really hard as well. It is a sort of a 7-day week. Love job for Steve for sure, so he's spending a lot of time here. Such progress is crazy at the moment.
It is. We are moving along.
Motoring along for sure.
Yeah, we're coming together. I gotta go.
Okay.
On the clock.
And while Steve's flat chat on site, Ray's attention is less on the building and more on the baby.
There's little bits and pieces that I'm still getting a part of, which is lovely. But yeah, my focus is definitely doing a bit of nesting and getting myself organised for when the baby comes along.
The baby's not Steve's only date with destiny. The concrete pour for the massive 9-metre cantilevered slab end lift walls is just 4 days away.
Did you get your measurement, Mitch? 3747.
And after 20 years of building dream houses for others, he's not wasting the chance to finally get creative with his own and is experimenting with the old technique of texturising concrete called board form.
Love the smell of Oregon. The concrete, it soaks into the timber and leaves the imprint. The deeper the grain, the better it looks. Oregon, just for years, this is what's been used because it doesn't get caught in the concrete as it gets stripped off.
There's a lot of exposed concrete on show here. The wooden grain will give it a natural timber texture and soften the look. But it's not something Steve has done before.
Years ago it was used because timber was cheap. Now timber's expensive. Board form's not so common anymore because of the expense, but that grain will be transferred to the wall and that'll be there forever, so it should look fantastic.
There are so many interesting elements to this house. It's like the ultimate builder's lab, where no challenge or trick of the trade goes untried.
You know, what hits you as you move through this building site is the sheer scale of the undertaking. All this scaffolding and formwork is holding up a cantilever slab above us. And as you come through this space, the delightful part is where you almost kiss this amazing rock as you pass by it. It looks like it's really moving along.
We've been working every Saturday, like 5 to 6 guys every Saturday.
And do you normally work this hard, or is it because of your own
not at all.
home?
I haven't worked this hard I don't think I've ever worked this hard. But yeah.
And can I say, is that because it's your house, you want to make it as economical as possible and bring it in, you know, and be efficient? Or is it the impending baby that's on the way?
With baby, yeah. But with the momentum, it's just been, you know, everything's been working pretty well.
So the change you've made from going from a render onto the lift shaft into the blade wall to that boarded concrete, I mean, how much extra is that costing you?
Look, I think formwork alone was 20. Labour in putting the boards, I don't know, probably another couple of $1,000s of just labour cutting it, and then the timber was about $3,000. It's something that I've wanted to do for ever since I've seen it, like 20 years ago when I first started building. I've just loved that idea of something so, you know, complete once you do it. Like with timber you can cut it or you can steel, you can patch it. Once this is done, that's it. It will stand there for years to come.
So hopefully you get it right.
Yeah. we're stressing. The unveiling of that's going to be a bit scary, but I think we've got all the right people involved and we've done what we've been told.
James, jump up here, mate. This deck's still not clean.
It's a massive day on site. After weeks of preparation, the cement mixers are rumbling Steve's way.
The whole slab's fully suspended in the air. It's just suspended on the lift shaft and the column. So there's only 2 points of connection and the rest is just cantilevering about, at the highest point, about 9 or 10 metres.
The steep site adds a complexity to an already difficult project, and today they are literally pushing concrete uphill.
It's just hard for the distance and the height for the pump to get the 20 mil aggregate through. Because it's a suspended slab, most of the job we've done in 10 mil aggregate, which is a bit smaller, and they can pump it through easier. But because this is such a critical structural slab, it all has to be in the larger aggregate. And yeah, just the pump, we'll get it up, but just a little bit challenging. And the trucks have to come consistently, otherwise it dries out in the line, and then it'll all go to it'll be a real problem. Yeah, massive problem.
A typical floor slab has a compressive strength of 20 megapascals, or MPAs. This slab has twice that.
40 MPa, it's pretty much the hardest concrete that we can get, which means it's sticky, which means it struggles getting through the pump line.
The power lines mean pumping the concrete directly to the slab via a long boom is out of the question. It has to snake its way up, which is a tough journey for the denser concrete.
Is that normal?
No. It's the concrete. It's squeezing up in the round.
Rock solid in there. How do you reckon it's going to be right? Or you want to get another one on the road?
Huh?
You got another pump. Is there another one available?
No other trucks available, so.
Time is critical. With the trucks charging by the minute and the slab partially poured and already starting to cure, unblocking this pump is crucial.
What are we going to do, guys? I just don't know how we're going to go. Just being such a critical slab, we can't let it... Give it another clean and see what happens.
Just a few gentle adjustments and the concrete starts to pump, but only over a short distance. It still needs to make it all the way to the top.
Come on. There we go. No stress. So one truck looks like it was a little bit stickier, and now the new truck, we swapped them over, and now it's running fine. So I reckon it was just that one truck of concrete that may not have been mixed 100% in the yard, might have had a little bit bigger stone, it could have had a bit too much concrete, the sand could have been grittier, like there's so many variables.
After 60 minutes, the concrete's now flowing freely. The only harm done is to Steve's back pocket.
You're gonna get some horror waiting time.
Work has been rocketing along on site and Steve has stopped for no man. That is, until the arrival of baby Kiefer, weighing in at a strapping 4.1 kilos.
He is a very cute little baby and he loves his daddy. As soon as daddy gets home, that's it. He knows Steve's voice as soon as he comes through the door.
You're a good boy.
Look at his little face.
Are you eating too much? You gotta finish it all before you get off. There you go.
Turns out, a newborn baby in a one-bedroom unit is a great motivator. Anticipating the pressure, Steve pre-ordered a lot of materials well before construction started, including $30,000 worth of steel. A gamble when there's no room for error.
So usually when there's a complex steel work like that, you'd build everything, get your slab, mark it out on the slab, and then measure. Well, I've done it all just on paper, so nothing was built here. So no slabs were down, so that was the risk.
You hit the slab on the other side, and that's all by hand, boys.
The mountainous terrain calls for some heavy lifting. The steel cladding is coated in premium zinc. At $500 a square metre, it's not only expensive, but tricky to install.
It's something that I've always wanted to do, is having a European background. I've been to Austria a few times and I've seen these beautiful buildings all in zinc, and I don't like imitation stuff, so having the proper material, it'll never rust, it'll never deteriorate. It's a finished product, it'll be there forever. So having the opportunity, I just said, yeah, it's time, give it a go. And although I'm jumping into it big time with doing it myself.
How do you feel about taking this material and turning it into a building?
I'm quietly confident with some good help and support. I don't know if it's complex for a zinc job, but for me, what I've seen, it's pretty solid. It'd be...
It's a challenge.
Yeah, I know it doesn't have curves. And
Is he bitten off too much?
We'll see.
Hopefully not. Now we are confident to guide him through. We have a big team here, and it's sort of like we're happy to support Steve.
You know, obviously first time it's going to be tricky, and if anything goes wrong in the interim, I don't think it'll be anyone here's fault. It'll be sort of my fault. So we've got to get it right first off.
You know, I love Steve's willingness to have a go. It comes with risks, but on his own house, he's prepared to take them. And he's about to find out whether one of them, the board-formed concrete, has paid off.
Beautiful. Looks exactly like it should. You can see the grain of every board. You can sort of see each knot has been embossed.
it looks great. I'm really stoked. This is actually going to be one of the main features as you walk up the house. So this will be the first bit of off form you see as you come into the house and from the garage. So it needed to be spot on. So yeah, we've done pretty well. For rookies on this, we've, I think it's come up exactly what I wanted.
It's hard to know if Steve's riding his luck or his skill, but either way, he's not backing away from the challenges. And wrapping the entire house in zinc cladding, when you have natural formations like rocks to dodge, is one of them.
Let's do it.
Oh, stuck. So, Steve, why aren't you in there doing that job?
Well, yeah, it's a good question because I don't have to.
That's why you employ people.
That's why we got
But how difficult is that? They're trying to fix that.
My two fourth-year apprentices.
They can't even reach inside there to fix it.
They will. Mitch is still squeezing. He's got another few inches. He'll be right. This is tricky. And look, we've made this as a feature, and this is one of the biggest parts of the home, the cantilever slab, the rock to zinc. So, you know, it's going to take a little bit of time. It's going to be a little bit more effort. But, you know, the boys understand the vision and they're committed to it, just like everyone.
They don't look very happy.
No, they're fine. They're fine. Look at the smiles.
What blows me away is the way the set-outs worked, where this material just floats in above that rock with just enough arm space to fix it. So someone
has thought, well, believe it or not, this original slab was 600 mil, and I've had to reduce it to 400 mil to get the 200 mil done. So actually it wasn't. So the original engineering and the original architecture was the rock, the concrete was going to sit onto about sort of this area, and I thought that was going to not give me that loss. So I've re-engineered the slab.
It just shows you how far you've got to be thinking ahead.
Otherwise, you can lose that detail. Because if that was too far, you wouldn't get that loss of the rock.
I reckon this detail here is going to be critical to the end look of the house.
Completely agree.
Absolutely critical.
Because you don't want to be seeing the wall. It's
going to be floating.
Rock. This is going to be floating. And that was the whole idea.
Yeah.
So
I think we're on the same page about that.
Look, I think we've got smart minds, I think.
While things are rocketing along on site, it's off-site where the pressure's starting to show.
Come on. Oh.
It's been a tough couple of weeks, a couple of months actually. So yeah, I actually haven't been to site since I think I was 38 weeks pregnant. Just haven't had a chance to. Just haven't been able to coordinate me getting out of the house with Bubby, and so it's been pretty tough.
Just working your range, making sure you're pushing up.
Steve's also stretched, juggling running a gym and the job. And while good weather and the lack of delays has meant the house is 3 months ahead of schedule, it's created an unexpected problem.
If I keep going at this rate, we'll finish it and there'll be nothing left for the boys to do. And I like to keep the crew working, so I've got to have a little bit of pipeline work, and that's what I'm doing at the moment, a little bit more. So I'm spending probably a day or so a week more out of sight, more in the office quoting. If I don't plan for the future, you know, everyone's going to be sort of unemployed, which is no good for them and not great for me either. So at the moment, I'm just trying to tie everything up, keep the job going, manage the rest of the business, and trying to keep on top of it all, which I think I'm just doing.
When it comes to the baby, the building, the gym and finding work for his team, Steve's managing. Just.
How much past there is it? A couple of mil or?
Yeah, this one's sitting mil too.
I keep checking and double check because I know how much this stuff costs. So.
But there's one stress he didn't see coming. Uninvited guests of the feathered variety.
So the neighbours have told me shelter, water, if that's available, they'll just they'll just hang around. The water's okay, I don't sort of have any water areas for them, but neighbouring gutters do. I've got the shelter, so I've just built this massive shelter for all of them, and they keep coming back at night. And as you can see, the ground, they've had a field day with my place.
With thousands of dollars worth of spotless zinc cladding almost complete, Steve is definitely not a pigeon fancier.
I can see another 6 months of battling pigeon poo. Eventually the house will be locked up, and that's still a while away. So during that time, we've just got to manage they don't get into little areas and breed. It's like getting a brand new car and a bird shitting on it. It's the same thing. I've got a brand new roof and I've got pigeon poo on it. So I'm not stoked.
It's not Steve's only frustration. The original plan was to dedicate 12 months to building his home. 7 months in, cash flow issues have forced him to slow down at Curl and crank up paying work further up the coast.
How in the hell are you juggling everything? You got your gym, you got a couple of projects going, you got a young family.
Yeah, it's challenging. It's a big year, definitely a big year, and I'm trying to do the best I can and make sure that everyone's looked after, from business to Ray to Kiefer.
Are you happy putting Curl on hold?
I'm not, no, definitely not, because I had such a good momentum and that momentum's now lost. So it's a bit of a punish, but I want to give it what it deserves, so hence I have to work to keep paying for it.
Yeah, yeah. So Ray must be itching to get into the house.
She is.
So not liking you being here?
No, well, she probably thinks I'm still at Curl, but no. No, it's been the one bedroom spot is, although it's a cute little loft, with a young child, there's stuff everywhere. We're sort of busting at the seams. She can see this lovely home.
Tantalising.
Yeah, it's just teasing her. But we'll get there. We'll definitely get there.
Steve and Ray's hopes of moving into Curl within a year seem snookered. His fine feathered friends are the only ones enjoying the delay. It's well over a year since construction started, and as they try to free up additional funds, it's been nearly 6 months since any major work has been done on site. But with Steve still flat out on other buildings, he and Ray have used the delay to apply to council for changes to the original floor plan, adding an extra bedroom and extending the top lounge room. Ray's all but given up hope of moving in anytime soon.
Are you desperate to get in?
To be honest, I can't wait. I seriously can't wait. Being in a one-bedroom place and being on top of each other and, having 3 cats and a baby as well, and we just need to get in there as soon as we can. Everything we're doing with Bubby at the moment is sort of collapsible, like we're using our dining table as a change table. We've got a collapsible bathtub, so it's kind of an organised chaos, I suppose you could say.
So what do you think when you drive past and you see no work happening?
It's pretty devastating. We're just hoping that this thing goes through council a lot quicker, so we can get the guys back on site and get them building again.
You've got to be patient, haven't you?
You do. Unfortunately, you do. But hopefully very, very soon we'll be in the beautiful house that he's going to build.
With the weeks dragging on and the plan still held up in council, the only job that can proceed is the one Steve's been desperate for, the windows.
Every time I came and had a look at the property, and all I saw was just pigeon shit. It was heartbreaking, especially on the black sink. But now, by closing everything off, they're not going to want to nest and they can go somewhere else, find another home, not mine. Just pretty close.
All right, Jeep down, Jeep.
stop. Right there, keep jam it up. Keep jam it up.
That worked.
For Steve, the arrival of the glass is a pivotal and poignant moment. While there's still a lot of work to do, there's signs his vision will, eventually, come to fruition.
Start seeing now that the rock is going to be all you see as you come in the entry. And that was the plan. The big rock. It looks beautiful.
2 years in, and the site is once again buzzing with action. The feathered freeloaders have been evicted, more cash has been freed up, and the additional plans approved.
I was impatient a year ago, but I've sort of been able to manage that by just, making sure it's right. It's just going to be a quality build, which is what I wanted.
Nice insulated.
Yeah.
What did you wool?
No, it's a polyurethane, but it's thermal and acoustic.
Oh, okay.
Steve is a second-generation builder. His father, Heinz, knows better than most the challenges Steve's faced getting to this stage.
Many years ago, when I advertised, I used to advertise and say, build on difficult building blocks, but I think the expert takes the cake. It's amazing. Man, have a look how many meters you're up. No, it's beautifully done. I'm very proud.
You'd think, after all the delays and frustration, Steve would be on a mission to finish. But ever the perfectionist, no detail goes unscrutinised.
The next stage of the building with the interiors is my forte. That's what I love. But the detailing and the finishes is where I sort of get into my own.
In typical Steve style, he's ignored the easy route. And for 2 pieces of feature joinery, he's tracked down and contacted celebrated Belgian designer Philip Janssens.
I love his work because it's unique. Every single piece is individual. They're like a piece of art as opposed to a piece of joinery. The challenge going international was that Philip didn't want to do it. That was the main challenge, and I said, I sent him another email saying, come on, mate. And he goes, nah, I only do in Europe. And then eventually through me sending him a few pictures of the building, and he came around. The finishes is super critical. If you don't get that right, it doesn't matter how great the structure is, it can still look like an ordinary home.
Steve's attention to detail has turned a sprint into a marathon and slowed progress again massively. Hopefully, the results will be worth it.
A builder's house always gets finished last, and that's exactly what's happened here. I had great expectations that I was going to be able to focus my time on it, and reality got in the way.
It's a little over 3.5 years ago that I first visited Steve and Ray at Curl Curl on Sydney's northern beaches. And the transformation to their impossibly steep goat track of a site is nothing short of spectacular.
Now that's smart, very smart. And even in the rain, it looks terrific.
From the huge timber treads that meander up to the house, to the striking zinc-clad boxes that step up the cliff face, it's a dramatic and grand entrance.
How wondrous is this? Despite the structural gymnastics that have gone into this cantilever, there's a wonderful textural conversation going on between the architecture and the landscape. And if this is a taste of what's to come, I can't wait to get inside. Hi, Ray.
Hi, how are you?
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Steve.
Welcome.
What a magic journey to the front door.
Yep, 100-odd steps, and we do have a lift.
Well, I took the steps, and that was very interesting, I got to say.
So, coming in.
Wow. What a great living space.
It's pretty lovely, isn't it?
That's terrific. Extraordinary. And I really like the idea that you come straight in on the kitchen.
It's beautiful.
Bang.
Isn't it?
And then straight onto your dining table as well. Yeah, well, the space is used. It's not just a big open area. You've got your working platform, then the dining table, main kitchen, and it's all usable.
And beautifully designed.
It
I'm
is
looking at
beautiful.
the quality of this and I'm struggling to keep my mouth closed, actually.
Yeah, no, all the surfaces are amazing and the textures and the actual wood finishes and things are absolutely beautiful.
Exactly, Ray. There's a warmth. Despite the kind of brutalist nature of the building, there's a softness, a very even palette of materials you've used.
Yep.
There's a rawness, but a lovely warmth coming through.
It's the recycled timber, I think, does it. It just softens everything.
This is elegance, it's sophistication. I mean, you haven't pulled any punches making this house.
Yeah, you could put this anywhere and it's going to look great, I think.
Yeah.
You know.
So you must be relieved that you're actually living in here now, not building it.
Finally in, yes, yes.
But all good things take time. So, like,
Well, how much time, Steve? This has been a long journey.
It is wonderful to be in here. And the main thing about it is that, as you'll see when we walk through the house, every window is like a living artwork because you're just looking out into the beautiful landscape of Curl and the beaches and you can see water and, you know, every day it's different.
And you've got this enormous courtyard.
the beautiful rock courtyard, which has got a nice little feature. You can open some of the doors up.
Oh, no, you're kidding me.
And we sneak those into the pocket.
And you extend your living space.
Exactly.
And this actually comes alive, doesn't it?
Yeah, so you can actually have breakfast out here, have a nice sunny breakfast. Or...
It doubles your space.
It does.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Everywhere you look, you can see Steve's touch. He's eked out every bit of potential this block has to offer, and then made the best of it. And that includes the view from the 9-metre cantilever.
That's one hell of a picture window you've got there.
It's pretty amazing.
It's the whole end of the building's open, really.
It is, definitely.
Wow, and that outlook. I can still see the waves breaking off their headland, which makes it come alive. But is it practical, Ray? I mean, in terms of getting the groceries up and getting the kids up, and you can give me an honest answer here. You're not here.
Yeah.
Go away.
No, it is practical because we have the lift.
So without the lift,
Forgetting about the lift.
It wouldn't work without the lift.
Yeah, but we did talk about it. The plans initially had a dumbwaiter, but because...
That would have been difficult.
Yes.
That would have been dumb.
That would have been a dumb thing to do.
Dumb.
So the lift's right here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is very convenient because it just pops straight into your living room.
Straight in, just straight.
Oh, this is good. You can conceal it. If you wanted to disappear, it's gone.
Yeah. Sneaky.
Show me.
Yeah, it's a very simple, very sort of elegant, very simple,
Oh, okay.
just stainless steel and a mirror.
Nice, nice. Well, it's probably over 100 grand then to do this.
Oh, yeah, and some. Yeah.
And some, so 150.
Yeah, I reckon more, 150. Yeah, but...
Makes your groceries really expensive. You had to do it. You're just justifying it.
It was a must.
Of course it was a must. Everything's a must.
No.
While the interior is neutral and restrained, there's a lot of interesting detail that hallmark the house and give a warm and relaxing ambience.
This is intriguing because you know there's another level up there.
Yes.
Did you see the stair?
Yeah, it flows nicely.
And this Philip Jansen joinery looks awesome.
It is a pretty impressive piece of joinery.
Well, it's actually more art than joinery.
Yeah, I agree. I said there's no need for paintings when you've got something like this. It just sort of sets the whole entry and walkway up into the next level.
While building vertically means lots of stairs, every room is flooded with light, with vistas to both outside and in.
Go to the private retreat.
This is the kids' play area.
That's a family room for sure. Yeah, so it leads out to the
back
deck.
garden.
Actually, it's really great. You've got a bit of lawn out there.
Yeah.
You can get lawn on top of this rock shelf.
Yes.
It's about 100 square metres of backyard, which is not bad.
It's a mini backyard.
It's
isn't
all
it?
level as well,
backyard,
which
yeah.
is great for the kids to play on. And yeah, it's nice.
I'm looking at more of this Jansen joinery, which is quite extraordinary.
It's amazing.
You just don't see detail like this anymore.
It is beautiful.
And Ray, it reminds me of the mid-century architecture where the emigre were here in the 1960s, 1950s, and they had that skill base.
Yeah.
You just don't see skill like this
No, I agree.
these days, you know. And it really sets a tone for the house.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's done a great job, both the designer and the joiner.
There's very little this house doesn't include. From the granny flat on the first floor to the plunge pool cut into the rock, and then there's the crowning glory, the master bedroom suite.
walk-through wardrobe.
It's very
My
handy.
favourite part.
Into the inner sanctum.
That's correct.
Main bedroom.
Well, it's not a big space,
No.
but you've got ceiling height. And of course, here we are again
Exactly.
with this
money shot.
incredible outlook. I almost get vertigo looking down at the driveway from here. It's so far down.
Yeah.
You know,
20 metres up.
do you feel cut off? Do you feel isolated?
It just feels private and just sort of, as I said, it's like a little sanctuary. And to be honest, I actually never look down. I'm always looking out at that view.
Are there any dead pigeons in the cupboards?
As you can see, my zinc is beautiful.
Pristine.
Well, I can't see any pigeon poo on it, so that's a good sign.
It is pigeon poo less, just cobwebs now. Yeah, no pigeon poo.
From the pigeons to the time it took to build, this house has thrown up its fair share of curveballs.
What a journey, 3.5 years. Can we just go over the whole money thing? Sure. So you originally bought the property for 1.3?
1.3, yep.
Yep, with the old house on it, plus stamp duty, and okay, so a bit more. And then you were originally going to spend 1.2
Yep,
on the house?
1.2.
So the whole investment was going to be 2.5.
Correct, yeah.
What have you spent on the house now?
And it's getting closer to 1.8.
Okay, so you've spent low threes.
Yep.
And I know there's more to this story that's happened recently.
There is a little bit more to the story. We sold the property.
You sold the property.
Yeah, so
It's definitely gone.
it's
Yeah.
definitely gone, yeah.
Did this come as like a lightning bolt?
Not so much. It was just something that happened. It was an opportunity and I took it. We took it.
Oh my God, how do you feel about that? Selling a house that you've worked so hard for, you've given blood, sweat and tears to
Yeah.
get to this position.
Yeah, there's a little bit of me in this home for sure. A lot of me in this home.
There wasn't a sign out the front, it wasn't advertised.
No, never been. It was sort of 90% finished, but the new people sort of saw the vision and sort of said, yeah, wow, this is what we want. Wouldn't want to change anything, you know.
And what did you sell it for?
415, so yeah, 4,150,000.
So you've made, well, almost $1 million.
Yeah.
But Ray, you know, you've given up 3.5 years waiting for this to be completed.
Yeah.
It must have been a great vision knowing you're coming into a brand spanker with your baby.
Yeah, it definitely was. And, you know, still a bit sad about it
Because
going.
what, you've been in, 6 months or so?
6 months.
Just long enough to feel really attached to it.
That's correct, yeah. But in the same sense as well, like, Kiefer basically sleeps with us every night. So we've got 5 bedrooms and the 3 of us are in one room constantly, sort of thing. So
You plan too far ahead.
No, look, yeah.
You'll want this house in about 10 years' time,
Yeah,
I
this
reckon.
will be the end game. But I said I can do it again. Not that I was planning to do it again for quite some time, but you know, life changes. Life throws curveballs, and you sort of run with it, and that's what we've done. Cheers, guys. They saw it. They go, yeah.
You know, Steve and Ray always knew this house would be an uphill battle. But they also knew difficult pieces of land would evoke creative solutions, where architects and builders have to think laterally. Well, that's exactly what's happened here with this extraordinary cascading house that relates directly to its rocky outcrop and unlocks those precious sea views. But probably the most impressive ingredient of all is Steve's quiet belief that it'd all be worth it in the end. Well, he certainly wasn't wrong about that. All the best things in life are free, right? Well, that's unless you're talking about amazing architecture. Now, that can get expensive. So what if you wanted to build something striking and unusual? A house that really stands out from the crowd, but you don't have much money. Surely good design doesn't just come down to the dollars.
That's awesome.
Adelaide couple Tony and Tania Canellos have known each other since high school. They are lovers of good design. They own 3 classic cars and around 20 old bicycles.
I think it's all about form and what these things look like rather than how functional they are. So, yeah, we look at things from an aesthetic perspective.
It's so cool. We should have had the house look like that. I do appreciate the fine design that goes into the cars, and even the old vintage bikes. They might be a bit rusty, but they're very stylish and they've got a great look to them. So he can have them in the house.
Collecting's in Tony's blood, and not just cars and bikes. He also stockpiles old movies, books and records. And then there's his day job, a curator at the Adelaide Botanic Gardens.
So if we look at a tree like that, you can go to the lake and see those trees still there. And that's what a Botanic Gardens is all about.
Tony and Tania, a university administrator, live in the Adelaide suburb of Lockleys with their teenage daughters, Catherine and Rebecca, in a house they bought 15 years ago. But they've got grand ambitions to build something different, an unusual and eye-catching home that reflects their love of interesting design.
Oh, this is great, isn't it?
Yeah. And I like this cladding.
And they found the perfect place to build it, just around the corner from their current home, on a block they've been eyeing off for years.
My parents live less than a kilometre along the park, and I grew up in this neighbourhood. This river was my backyard for all of my youth. Now, to be able to build a house backing onto that, I think it's a lifelong dream. There's a sentimental connection to this place.
The catch is their budget. Having paid $490,000 for the block, they have just $400,000 to build. But one property that's inspired them is this eye-catcher in the Adelaide Hills known as the house for a car. Designed by architect and family friend Damien Campagnaro and built for just $500,000, this man could have the design credentials to deliver them something equally impressive on their small budget.
It's spectacular.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
And look at the outlook as well. I mean, this is just an amazing location. The house is out of the box, isn't it, Tania?
Oh, definitely. It's so unusual. Can kind of just look right across it and see the whole house. And I just like that it's also compact, but really simple and clean.
So this is completely unconventional. Do you want something as radical and out of the box as this?
We don't want this. We want something as unique as this,
unique,
if that makes
yeah.
sense. But and a response to our surroundings and a little bit of us.
How long have you been planning for your build?
Well, we started in 2010. We bought the land. We sat on it for a year. Drawings sat at council for about a year, 2013, and here we are, end of 2014, just about ready to start.
Wow, so over 4 years,
Yeah.
just in the thinking and planning and making. So how long to build?
Oh, 12 months?
Yeah, they tell us about a year, so we'll see how we go.
Is that optimistic?
I don't know.
I guess you'll find out.
We just asked the question, and they said we'll be done in 12 months.
The plan is to use simple, low-maintenance and affordable materials, but to dramatic effect. A seamless slab of black polished concrete will form the base of this 250 square metre home, with exposed structural steel supporting 2 stories. While the girls' bedrooms and shared walk-in robe are downstairs, the upstairs is Tony and Tania's, with the main bedroom at one end and a bridge-like walkway leading to a balcony overlooking the river at the other. Water views will be filtered through one of the home's more interesting features, a geometric steel facade made to measure on site and covering both the back and front of the house. But it's downstairs where the budget will feel the most stress. Massive glass windows will wrap around the kitchen, lounge and dining rooms, looking out onto the 11-metre lap pool. To offset the big-ticket items, the house will be clad in white and black colour-bond steel. A major cost saver, they hope, will bring the house in at around $400,000.
That's really lean.
Is it going to bother you if it's, say it doubled and became $1 million? What would happen?
Oh, that's not going to happen.
We won't be able to build that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what we do, but yeah, $1 million is out of the question.
So is there a contract in place with a builder?
No, we're working with the architect and the builder, and we're just it's not a handshake agreement, but there's an agreement that we've got $400,000 to build this.
So it's just on trust, the budget, the contract.
Look, we certainly trust the architect. We know him personally. We don't know the builder.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Now you're making me nervous.
Time will tell, I guess.
Yeah.
And what was your brief, given the $400,000 budget?
We went to the architect and we said, we want something that looks $1 million. But we've only got...
Normal brief. Absolutely normal.
We've only got $400,000 to play with.
You damn clients. Always a thorn in the side of an architect. It's an ambitious and possibly delusional plan, and I'm fascinated to see how it unfolds. Two months into construction, the concrete slab's down, and the builders have already made a start on the internal timber framing, while waiting on today's delivery of the structural steel.
I'm just putting them out, re-familiarising myself with the plans because I haven't been here for a while. So I'm just trying to figure out what goes where. On A, well, this is A, I think. That one was off grid. So
Their exceptionally skinny budget means there's no money for anyone to project manage, but builder Chris, who also worked on House for a Car. He's agreed to fit the job in between his other projects and invoice as the house progresses.
On an open market, this would probably cost $800,000 or $900,000 to build. Well, we're half of that. So if we can get a fair sway of this and get him in here on a reasonably good budget, well, I think we would have done well.
It's an ambitious and risky plan requiring super careful management. And already, the cracks are starting to show. And that's not a metaphor.
It's quite amazing because I haven't seen these sorts of cracks on any foundation I've seen, and ours is going to be exposed. So, just our luck.
Yeah.
They all crack to some degree, mostly just little spider cracks and things, but I've never seen anything like this, and neither's anyone else. So I believe it's cracked because of some of the additives that were put in it. And I got no proof about that, but we'll just have to work through it, which is what we're going to do with the concrete company. They've been really good, so it'll all come together.
The polished concrete, about a third of the cost of tiles or timber floors, is not only a budget choice, but also provides a sleek and modern look Tania and Tania are after. That is, the crack-free variety.
It hasn't really gone quite to plan, but we're hopeful that that will be the last of our troubles and it'll all go very smoothly.
It's a big day on site, with the soaring 6.5-metre steel skeleton taking shape, one massive column at a time.
First column, how good's that? About time.
Finally, you know, with the crane rolling up now and seeing some of the steel go in place, it feels like we're coming out of the ground and something is happening. And it's been a long wait for us, so we're really thrilled that it's all starting to happen.
While the structural steel comes with a hefty $40,000 price tag, they're actually spending to save. The steel will support the ColourBond wall cladding and roof, which is not only cheaper than bricks and tiles, but also quicker to install.
Grab that end.
What's interesting is the height of it. I mean, those steel columns starting to show that it's quite a tall building.
It is.
It's a clever trick on a smallish block. If you can't sprawl out, sprawl up, using height to amplify the sense of space. There's an added bonus to the soaring ceilings. and that's in the garage where Tony will house his 3 classic cars.
So you always wanted 3-metre high ceilings.
Yes.
That's
And you just happened to fit a car hoist in here.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Serendipitous.
Exactly your master plan anyway, probably.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's perfect.
Yeah.
Gotta go.
1, 2, 3. Will you work on it? Will you come in here, drain the oil, work on the engine? Yeah,
I will. And I've got a team of friends waiting to come in for their monthly and yearly services.
Yeah, there's a bit of business on the side.
That's right.
It's a neat design with the house set to one side of the block. There are views to the park beyond. The effect is one of openness and space.
So it's quite a journey. You've got to walk right down
That's
here.
right.
Yeah.
You're almost at the back door.
Yeah.
I don't mind that.
No. There's a sense of entry. We're hoping for
It's a
sense of
great
entry.
Aussie tradition of coming in the
Yeah,
back door. It's just a long
exactly.
journey to get there.
That's right.
See, you're almost at the back of the house, and there's your entrance.
And there's the entry. So
Yeah.
you come in, and here's the living space.
Yeah.
This is where it all happens.
And it's right up to that double void space.
Up to that,
So it'll appear enormous, absolutely ginormous. It's dramatic, huh? You come in, bang.
Yeah.
Lovely. Now tell me about the slab. I mean, I'm looking at these cracks. What did you think when you saw those cracks?
Yeah, I was quite upset. I didn't really know what to think.
When we saw this, we were talking about ripping it all up and starting.
The whole slab.
If it was structurally unsound,
Unsound, yeah.
you'd have to do it.
So it's been signed off by the engineers,
Yeah,
happy
yeah,
with it.
yeah.
So this is really superficial.
Yeah.
And the new solution is sticking to the same design intent.
That's right. The solution is to lay a slab over the top. So we could have put tiles over the top, but why would we compromise that at such an early stage? And a solution may end up with a better result.
Great to be optimistic, but I'm nervous.
This house has a lot of potential in this design. It's actually quite delightful walking through these skeletal frames because you can get a sense of what the house will be. But as I look around, there's a lot of half-built, raggy details that are starting to appear. I'm just concerned about the lack of contract the guys have with the builder, both with time and money. And I just reckon they've put a lot of faith in what is basically a handshake.
The Adelaide suburb of Lockleys is a mishmash of design styles, known more for its suburban tranquility than an architectural hotspot. Tony and Tania want the best of both worlds, and on a modest $400,000 budget. Quite the challenge for architect and family friend Damien Campagnaro.
How do you create a sense of space with such a small block of land and a tight budget?
We tried to make it long and narrow, so when you walk in, it feels like a long space. Lots of glass at the ground level, so you see out from the house. It's very transparent. And we put a void in the back, so it really elongates the house. So it feels like a big house, but it's actually not a really big house.
How big is it?
About 250 square metres.
So it is modest.
It's not generous.
I would agree with you. I reckon that it's looking like it's going to be a lot bigger than that. There's some big gestures in there. As an architect, I know how hard it is to design on tight budgets, but how do you approach this conundrum?
I think we're lucky because our design premise is normally a very simple building. And just by the mere fact that it's simple keeps the cost down.
Simple in what way?
Simple in form. So we use one general material. We try to keep everything down to a minimum. We don't have too many materials happening, not too many colours, not too many any projections from anywhere. It's a basic form. Everything's really basic in Tony and Tania's. It might look out of the box, but it's actually basic and graphic.
But what's basic on paper is proving increasingly difficult in reality. After an early flurry of activity, progress on site is exasperatingly slow, leaving the house exposed to the elements since construction began 4 months ago.
We've had a few problems with the steel. We've had a couple of issues with the design, and then the crane wasn't available. We've had a few issues with painting of the steel. The weather has been a bit of a problem. So, no, we're doing the best we can to get it back to where it needs to be.
We were hoping that at this point in time, the steel would be up, the roof trusses would be in, and hopefully they'd be, putting the roof on by now. So yeah, it's been a little frustrating.
1 or 2 delays aren't a problem. In fact, they're inevitable and planned for. That's the job of the project manager, to order materials and keep the trades on track. Problem is, on this site, there isn't one.
The truss comes right across, doesn't it?
That's right. So you've got to take that off 24 to be too low. The height here is the problem. What height does he want? Put it up there and have a look, and if he likes it, we'll weld it. If he doesn't, we'll change the height. Are you happy with that, Tony?
What's that?
The height.
The height, yeah.
My architecture's always organic, mate. We'll work out something.
Great.
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
Just my way.
Your way, that's fine. Your way at my price. How's that?
Oh, it doesn't work.
Trouble with organic is that it can be very expensive. And one price that Tony's been hanging out for is the glass. They've budgeted $50,000. But with the huge glass doors and windows on 3 faces of the house, that sounds like wishful thinking.
Should I sit down?
Huh?
Should I sit down?
Oh, it's cheap. It's 95.
95.
Plus GST.
Plus GST. 95.
But there's got to be a lot of clarifications because his plans, we don't know some of the windows, so I recommend you go and talk to Damien.
Yeah, we can't spend 100 grand on windows.
It's more than I'd allowed for. I honestly thought that would come in at 50 or 60 tops, but his plans are not detailed enough, really.
This is the drama that goes with custom built. The price is $100,000, which is a quarter of the budget. So we need to look at some alternatives. Yeah, don't want to be blowing the budget right now just yet. I'm sure we'll go over, but yeah, right now it's not the time to do it.
Tony needs to find a resolution, and quickly, or the building will continue to sit exposed to the weather. It's now 5 months since work started on site, and it's slow going. While there's still no resolution on the glass price, at least the roof is going on.
Starting to pick up the wind, eh?
I know.
There's been a series of delays, and it's unclear what they're all about. So our frustration is that the site's been exposed, and the weather's the issue. Well, if they put the roof on, the weather wouldn't be an issue, and we wouldn't be in this situation. So anyway, that's the past. If we're here now, we've got the roof on. There's nothing stopping them from working through all sorts of weather now. So I'm looking forward to the next 3 to 6 months. This is fantastic.
If this building site had alarm bells, I reckon they'd be ringing about now. But Tony and Tania's concerns aren't dampening their love of the design.
Look all right up there?
Oh, yeah. It looks really good.
What is less encouraging is the relationship on site between builder and architect.
We discussed all this.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did.
No, mate, we didn't discuss that. We didn't discuss that it was open underneath.
Yeah.
Despite having worked together in the past, frustrations over design changes and lack of detailed plans are escalating between Chris and Damien.
Why have we got drawings if you just change it like that?
And at this rate, this project could well be their last.
They revel on the fact that they can have a go at the architect.
What do you want? They're
I
already
want them
made.
to be solid.
Please explain to me how you want this.
That's the detail we've got to resolve.
Ah,
Does that make sense?
it does, but it's not drawn like that.
Well, we've got to match the timber at the front.
What timber at the front? All right, what else do you want to argue about?
7 months into their Riverside project, and Tony and Tania's dreams of moving into their new home within 12 months are just that, dreams.
Great to have the roof on.
It
but
is.
Not a lot's happened
No.
in quite a long time. Is there a problem?
There's not a problem. There's just builders not happy with the details, architects not happy with what the builder's saying. Everyone wants to get it right, and so there's a delay while everyone works it out.
Which is surely costing someone some money.
It's interest in the bank, you know, interest to the bank for the
Which
loan.
is you?
Yeah, which is me. Yeah.
Can you manage if it takes 6 months longer, or?
Look, we can. For us, it's a long-term project. You know, we're living in our house, which we'll sell after we move in here. So we're okay. I mean, it's costing us money, but we're okay.
The good news is they wanted a sense of space, and they've got it.
Like a bath. This is quite a hallway, isn't it?
Yeah, we've been calling it the bridge.
You don't really appreciate the volume in this walkway, but you do here.
You do here.
Huh?
It's
this is quite dynamic, this space here.
It's huge, isn't it?
Yeah. It's quite an expensive experiment, though, to build the walkway and this viewing platform, just so you can take that in. Because this is not a habitable room yet. This is just like a purely...
it's for enjoyment and pleasure and soaking up the views.
Yeah. Wow, and what a composition when you look like this way. It's powerful. That space is powerful.
Yeah, we're amazed at how it's turning out.
There are follies and poetry in this design, and there's no doubt it's cut from a different cloth. It's just that it's taking an age to stitch it all together.
Are you happy with what you're seeing? I mean, there's quite a lot of architecture going on here. Big, bold forms. Love the cross spacing at the back, and the roof run extends out. There's quite a lot of exciting things happening in here.
I think that's why we're not as worried about these delays, because we're walking into the space and saying, OK, you know, maybe it's worth it.
It would want to be. There's a lot I'm not liking about this situation, and it's not just the delays.
If you look at the walls and the way they're performing, there's a lot of movement and buckling going on into the fabric of the building. And I'm looking at the scale of this house, and the floor-to-ceiling heights and the overall volumes are ginormous. And with a budget of only $400,000, I'm really worried about Tony and Tania, that they can actually get this thing finished. At the moment, the writing's on the wall. Personally, I think they're in big trouble.
It wasn't so much the writing on the wall as the cracks in the concrete signalling all wasn't well at Lockley's. And while there's been little progress for months, the concreters have finally returned to re-pour the slab.
It's been so long, and it was the first major stuff-up for us, and here we are 9 months later.
Theories abound as to why the initial slab cracked, but it's been signed off as structurally sound, and the new slab is being laid right on top of it.
They did a sample in the garage to make sure that it wouldn't crack again, and so that the garage has worked out really nice. If it cracks again, who knows? Raise the floor.
We'll end up with 2-metre ceilings instead of 3. Looks smooth. It's got like a new feel to it. It's got a new, like a newness now.
But as the weeks turn to months, with little or no work on site, the mood is not good. There's nothing more depressing than an abandoned, half-built house, except maybe one with a second cracked concrete slab.
Is this the new slab or the old slab we're walking on?
The new slab.
This is new? So you're happy with the cracking?
No.
Oh, my God.
No.
What a bummer.
So the same problem we had in the first slab happened again. So There's an issue there.
Oh. So this is happening all the way along. Well, your new slab. Is this worse than the first slab?
No.
Doesn't look great, though.
No, it doesn't look great.
Cracks it all the way along it.
Mm-hmm.
Concrete can be tricky. Extremes of temperature, quality of materials, or tradesman error can all affect the finished product like this. Trouble is, the problems on this site are running much deeper than just the cracks.
In the last 6 months, I think they've done 8 days' work.
That is nothing. Are you disappointed about that?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Disappointed, angry, frustrated.
Wow. Do you think, I mean, I don't know, but do you think that the lack of a contract is not giving you the leverage you might need?
No, in between all of this, since the last time you were here and today, we had to go to the bank to get the rest of the money, and the only way through that was with a contract. So there is a building contract in place
That's
now.
interesting. So the bank insisted on it. Okay. So the builder's kind of locked in.
Yeah.
To get it complete then.
Yep.
Is there a...
But we're past the end date already. The end date was February this year. And, you know, look, we'll probably be in end of this year.
So it's a horrible position to be in.
We're treading water right now.
Yeah.
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 And hopefully in the delay, house prices will go up. So when we sell, you know...
I'll sell your existing place, you mean? You might get some...
Yeah,
some
it
money back in.
may work out in the end. But in another 2 weeks, in theory, the glass will be up, the front will be covered, we'll be lock up.
Hang on, I think I've heard that before.
I've been saying that for 7 months.
What we've got is a very unfortunate situation because it's been going on like this here for over a year now with little progress. And I know there's always more than one side to a story. If the walls had ears and were up, I'd love to hear what they'd say because the reasons for this build's lengthy delays are unclear to me. Something's got to give, and fast, because at the moment it's looking like a train wreck.
It's not just the building which is a bit of a shambles. Their finances are messy as well. On top of $200,000 in savings, Tony and Tania have now borrowed $250,000 from the bank to finish the house. $50,000 over their original $400,000 budget. The catch is the bank will only lend it in instalments as work is completed. And with the builders finally back on site, it seems this might be the problem.
Well, Tony's got to get the money from the bank at various stages, and he hasn't. I think some of the stages are too far apart because it's too involved, because it's not a normal house, so therefore that creates a problem with cash flow. That's what it is. And that's where I'll just turn this off, that's where the stress comes from. I want to see everyone get paid, but I worry about the blokes the most, and the subbies and that. They need to get paid just as I do.
There's progress claims. It's the money from the banks that makes it really difficult. So you've got a circumstance where you've got tradesmen that need to be paid, but they can't get paid until we can get paid by the banks, but the banks won't pay until we do some other work. So it's really difficult. It's a stalemate. So then you start working out who you have to pay, who's shouting the loudest before we can do more work.
I just want it to go away. I just want to get out of here. So the money is the concern, the stress of the money.
It's a woeful situation when poor planning collides with high expectations on all sides. It's clear everybody's frustrated, but hopefully there's relief in sight.
Make it 1270.
The building team are working on the tricky job of cutting and fitting the steel sheeting to create the abstract facades for the front and back of the house. This should trigger the next release of funds.
What I want to see is the sides go up, the fins go up, so we can get the money from the bank and then get the glass back in.
whatever else you might say about this project, it definitely packs a visual punch. And now with the street side facade up and extra funds released, the glass can finally go in. At 75 grand, it's 25,000 more than they budgeted. But it's a massive milestone.
So hopefully by the end of the week you won't be able to walk through the glass.
Yeah. No, it's really good. They just moved in.
They started when we were at council.
Well, everything started to happen really quickly for them at the end, so maybe we'll be
Yes.
optimistic.
Oh, yeah. It's all going to happen quickly from here.
Great.
Their enduring optimism is truly a source of wonder. Until now. Nearly 2 years since the building started and 4 months since the glass went in, Tony and Tania received some devastating news.
The builder sent me a text message saying, I'm done, I've had enough, I'm not doing this house anymore. At this point in time, we don't know how much it'll cost to finish this house. We've got no idea where we'll be in 3 months or 6 months or even 12 months' time. Yeah, it's really a big black cloud over our heads.
The house, supposed to be finished well over a year ago, has become a trap. And Tony and Tania desperately need to find a way out.
There's just so much to do. It's really depressing and terrifying at the same time.
We just sell it?
No.
Do you really want to go through all this and sell it? We've got to see it through. We've got to finish it.
They're in a very unfortunate spot. Finding a builder prepared to take on the risk of an unfinished project is enormously difficult.
As soon as we pick up the phone and say, interested in a building quote, and we get to the point where we say the builder's, left, they've got to take over someone else's job, most people actually just hang up and or just say no thanks.
I know it can only get better, so part of me is still excited. We are going to have, the house we wanted with, all the, the pool and all those things we want so that, we can have an adult family living in a nice big house. And so I'm hopeful that we'll still get that. But maybe I'm a bit of a Pollyanna. I'd like to think that that's where we're going to go and not end up, just with a half-built house for 5 years and never be able to finish it, so...
The unfamiliar sounds of builders at work. After 6 months searching high and low for a new builder, they've finally found one, right under their noses.
You got a bit more there, Mitch? In that one?
Neighbour Leon built his house on the same street.
Tony. That'll be good. Hey, Peter, how are you?
Good.
Hey.
How have you been?
Not bad, thanks.
Good.
Not bad.
You must be the knight in shiny armour.
Thank you.
Leon, is it?
Yes.
So, new kid on the block?
New kid on the block, yep. 4 weeks ago, started on site.
I'm looking at this building and I can't see any change from when I was here, I don't know how long ago. What have you been doing the last 4 weeks?
It's framing, really, for the last 4 weeks. Some of the stud work's obviously moved around and twisted with weather, so we're straightening all of that up and just working through each wall bit by bit.
There's an element of luck involved in all this, Leon lives on the same street. That's how we sort of...
So you've got a vested interest. You want a good house in your street, so your property goes up.
I do. That gives you another challenge, because you've got to do a good job, because we're going to wave at Tony every morning. So.
Wave or dodge.
Or wave or dodge, one or the other. So.
Well, let's hope it's the former.
Yeah, that's right.
Making good the framework is relatively easy. Some other problems, like this unsightly gap, where the concrete is supposed to meet the glass, are more challenging.
That one's really quite offensive, this detail, because it can't be fixed, you know, so there's a structural element missing there, but at least Leon can fix that.
That'll be hidden.
Yeah.
So that sort of thing gets up your goat.
Yeah.
After all the mismanagement, their 12-month end date came and went quite literally years ago. They're still a long way from finished.
I think the deadline was to move in for Catherine's 16th birthday.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
she's what now?
She's 19.
So 3 years later...
She can have her 20th birthday here. What's it?
Or a 30th.
Or a 30th. No. Well, I hope she does have a 30th here.
How have you managed with the whole cost of this? Forget about the time.
We've started down this path at a $400,000 house, and now we've got a $900,000 project. The alternative to not completing is selling a half-finished house on the market.
It'll be worth nothing.
I'll tell you what I'll get for that. I'll get land value if I'm lucky, because to demolish this or to complete this, is another $480,000 to finish. We've got two choices: lose a lot of money or borrow a lot of money. So we had to go to the bank and see if we could afford to borrow the money that was required to finish this house.
So what age do you have to work to pay this off?
I've got to live longer than I thought. Longer than my lifestyle will allow me.
That's the worry, isn't it? You'll be 85 years of age and still paying this bloody thing off.
This house has turned into a costly marathon, and I still can't really say the end is nigh.
This is what builder number 2, Leon, has to deal with. Building fabric which is literally falling apart. Steel which is showing signs of rusting. A metal deck roof which is not even cut straight, not even fixed. I mean, how do you deliver a project with frayed edges and come up with a polished product?
In the unassuming suburb of Lockleys in Adelaide, Tony and Tania had a vision to do things differently. That vision became a nightmare. But nothing could shake their commitment to a bold design.
Well, have a look at this. It's big. In fact, it's monumental. Love it or hate it, you have to admire the ambition in this project because, let's face it, not everyone would have the courage to even embark on something like this.
It's 14 months since I was here last, and the transformation is nothing short of remarkable.
It's all done.
Hey, finally.
It's big, it's beautiful, it's bold.
Hi.
Well done, good to see you.
Nice to see you.
How good is this?
Finally.
It's
Finally.
Yay.
It looks so pristine and sharp. You must be over the moon.
We're thrilled and relieved.
Yeah, very white
very white, yeah.
and very black.
Yeah.
But looks awesome.
Oh, great.
Yeah, what a crisp statement.
Oh, thanks. Come on in.
Cheers. Oh, my goodness. Well, guys, you've certainly nailed this. What an extraordinary space.
Yeah, we're really pleased with the result.
It just explodes.
Yeah, we
Doesn't
just
it?
love it.
It's got a lot of volume, a lot of height, a lot of light.
It's actually uplifting when you walk in it.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
That was really important to us, to have that sort of lofty feel, because we knew we weren't going to have a massive house, but it feels really, really big.
And that space is also expanded by the floor-to-ceiling glass.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which leads, and that pool area is actually part of the living room, as is the view out towards the landscape.
Yeah.
So that's what's deceiving about this space.
Yeah, it feels great. It feels very, very comfortable in here.
The elegant feel of this house belies the battle I had to get here. The interior is sharp and minimalistic, a reserved backdrop to the home's striking sculptural elements. It's a testament to both form and function, but that's not to say there aren't battle scars.
The cracking in the concrete, it tells the whole story of the house construction. And I love the way it's located right near the dining table. So when you have guests in, you can turn around and you can spend hours talking about the story of this construction. Are you surprised at how well the house has come up?
I wasn't confident that they would be able to resolve the concrete and glass interface after the fact, but I'm really happy with what's happened. Yeah.
Lots of people we know have gone through similar things, but so we do compete and see who's got the worst story. Ours is always the worst story.
The house is literally flooded with light, and while the stark white walls and black floors of the ground floor could feel austere, the overall finish is softened by a colourful collection of family photos and artworks. The gallery-like corridor leads to the girls' bedrooms, which are also light-filled and separated by a shared walk-in robe, with the black and white theme continuing into the downstairs bathroom. Tony's pride and joy, the garage, is a work in progress, but there's plenty of room for his bike and car collection, not to mention his plans for a car hoist. Upstairs is much cosier.
Here it is.
What a great hideaway this is.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
It's a great space.
Yeah, it's really comfortable.
And this is brave because you've opened your cupboards. This is you two on show here, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Hey,
Well,
no secrets to hide here. You see exactly what you're into.
Yeah. Exactly.
Bit of nostalgia, a bit of history.
Yeah.
And a lot so stuff has been sitting in storage for 3 years. And
a bit over 3 years, I think.
Yeah. And so it's great to have it out, and I love what it looks like. And Catherine's paintings up there just make it pop a little bit as well.
It seems books and old movies aren't their only collections.
So to the private domain. Wow. That's not a dressing room. This is a masterpiece.
Oh, I love it.
So who's responsible for this little expose? I see.
Yeah, I am.
So is this a bit of a passion, fashion passion?
A little. It's a little way of, displaying the shoes, tribute to Carrie Bradshaw.
And it's working. Let me tell you, that's working.
That's lovely. That's good. Come over this way.
I really feel like I'm at the helm of a ship here. You're right at the front. You're almost driving the bus, But great privacy, given the connection to the outdoors here. And I love the idea that you've got different apertures to look through.
You're right. You get a different scene, every different angle that you look from. And, we can get up in the morning, kind of just sit up and look out, and you can't see the houses. It really just feels like we're out in the country. It's beautiful.
And you've continued your colour scheme, your extravagant colour scheme, into the bathroom as well.
Was there anything else we could have done? Once we decided on a black carpet...
You had nowhere to go.
We had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
This home has been designed with an adult family in mind, but it was child's play that inspired the house. As a boy, the river was Tony's backyard. It's where all this started. The bridge leads to what is, without doubt, the star of the show.
Wow. What a wonderful release it is when you get here,
Yeah,
Tania.
that's right.
And you've got this wonderful connection to what is quintessential Adelaide. You've got the Torrens River at your doorstep.
That's it, that's right.
And the big rationale behind this whole design is this connection.
This is what this entire house is all about. We wanted this site because of the connection to that linear park and the river.
How's the response been? As people go past, do they get whiplash?
Well, we've had a black and white response to this house. Some people love it and some people hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You keeping a tally?
Not really. Not really.
Well, I'm only counting the ones who like it.
That's a good place to be.
I'm very positive.
Well, I think this is just wonderful.
Yeah.
Just wonderful.
Thanks. We love it.
So well done.
Thanks, Pete.
Gutsy performance.
Thank you.
There are many who would have walked away from this project, and indeed some did. But not Tony and Tania. Whether by choice or necessity, they stuck it out. They may not have achieved all they wanted, but what they have is impressive.
At the beginning, you said you wanted $1 million house, but only wanted to spend $400,000.
Oh. We said we wanted a house that looked $1 million.
Without spending.
$1 million house costs $900,000.
So it's more than doubled?
Yep.
Yep.
How much does that hurt?
when we started this project, we were going to keep our existing home as an investment for the children, and now we have to sell it. So we'll still have a mortgage.
Well, I think, just between you and I,
Oh, yes.
it's a good value for $900,000.
Oh, that's good.
But I went, I went into a car yard wanting a Commodore, and I've walked out with a Ferrari.
That seems like a good deal.
Probably happy to drive a Ferrari.
I'll be very happy to drive it, but yeah.
It's not what you were shopping for.
It's not what I was shopping for.
He's not allowed to go to car yards now.
So is it worth it? Is it worth doing something like this you've been through?
Worth the money?
Is it worth the money? Is it worth the effort? Is it the stress, the toll it's taken?
Look, I really don't know how to answer that question. We love the house.
And even the girls, they've got lots of space for their friends to come over. They've got their own spaces. So it's been really nice to give them that opportunity to own their own space as well.
The real lesson in all of this is not about the construction process. It's about the strength of our relationship. It's pretty stressful and nerve-wracking, and we felt out of control. We felt like we financially stuffed up big time, and I felt personally responsible. But Tania was great and supportive, and I think the process reinforced for me how fortunate I am in terms of selecting a partner like Tania.
I can't top that.
Nor do you have to.
I'm going to take it.
Take it.
How are you? Tania, this is terrific. Wow.
Let me top you up, Anna.
The bling comes.
Yes, they were naive, and they've paid dearly for it. But despite everything, they've hung in there. Tony and Tania embarked on this epic journey with the notion that good architecture shouldn't cost a fortune. It wasn't their idea that was flawed, but the execution of it. And boy, has it cost them. They could have slashed the budget by diluting the design, but they've hung in there. Was it worth it? Well, the house is truly unique. A striking example of space, light, and gleaming black and white. They wanted a unique house, and they've certainly got it, spades and all.